to my podcast. I'm actually going to stream this live today to test it out. I hope that everyone watching enjoys what I'm presenting here. Now, we have episode 33. If you aren't aware, I've been secretly recording podcasts for the last since September 23rd. My podcast is called Driven for Health. It's for targeted toward men over 40 that are struggling with their weight, their health. Blood panels are coming back and not so good. Doctors starting to ask them to put them on meds. They just don't look like they used to, and they don't like it. And that's what I'm here for, to help empower men and ultimately humans. If you're a lady listening in to this live stream, then it's for humans. Everything I talk about is for humans, and we want to make sure that you live your best, healthiest lifestyle. Now, episode 33, my followers asked the hard questions. Some of the topics that we're going to cover today are food noise, sleep struggles, creatine, and the 20-pound loop. Let's get into it. Welcome to Driven for Health podcast, episode 33. I'm Coach Brian Pirana. Today, we're digging into the questions men in their 40s and 50s keep asking me. I'm getting DMs like crazy on my Instagram, my Facebook, comments on the YouTube videos of the podcast recordings that are going up. And I wanted to get some answers to these guys. And I figured what better way to do it than just a broadcast, a live session. And I think as long as this goes well and the next couple that I test out go well, I'm going to keep doing it like this. So you'll be able to catch me in a live format like this. Today I'm wearing my Santa hat because it's December 8th and Santa's on his way. We've got the elf on the shelf here live at our house quite a bit. And we've got all of the presents are getting, handled, all those fun things happening at the Pirana household for our 4 kids. Now, the questions that were asked were not softballs. These were questions guys think about at night. They stress about at 3 a.m. and they're juggling a jar of peanut butter. I think that's the number one sweet treat thing that most guys end up falling into is a jar of peanut butter. If you wanted to know, that is the most common challenge in the middle of the night. And guys, we shouldn't be eating when it's dark out. All right, it's not helpful. Now, we're stressed at work and you're trying to Google how to figure out what to do, why to do it. And my goal is to bring value-based, science-backed information to you and bring it into being actually applied into your everyday life. That is so important to me in this whole process, that you understand what you're doing, why you're doing it. Let's start off with the first one, is restarting fat loss without the yo-yo. The original question here, how do I restart my fat loss journey? I've lost 60 pounds, but can't sustain it. Hey, I also have ran into so many people that have lost 20 pounds, regained it, lost 50 pounds, regained it, lost 60, 80 pounds and regained it. That's a big problem because whatever you did in the first point is not the truth, not the best way to go about it. And or you got down there, you're super excited, and then you completely just never change lifestyles, or you blew it and just let one small pebble turn into an avalanche down the mountain. And it's just not what we want to do. You don't want to lose 120 pounds to get to the goal of what you want to look and feel like. Now, brother, this is the most silent struggle that a lot of guys are dealing with. It's not about being confused or being exhausted. It's not about even being tired. But once you figure out that you can't stick to the protocol, once real life gets back in, then this is where the problem is. Think of the example of the 75 hard. That is, sure, that's a program. And I always tell people we're doing our own version of 75 hard. We don't necessarily have to do 2 workouts a day. We don't have to drink a gallon of water, but all those things, the merits are here's a very strong outline that you should follow for the next 75 days without breaking for 75 days. And then off we go to the whole goal of that whole thing is to create a longer term lifestyle, but people don't appreciate what that whole process is about. They just follow the checklist, but they don't create it into life and rhetoric and all. And that's something that we want to definitely do. All right. Have to do it. Now, you've tried keto, you've tried just literally cutting out carbs, you just have fasted, just those don't actually work. And even most guys are programmed to think the working out is what gets it done. Yes, that is one way to burn calories, but isn't the overall arching goal. Exercise helps and assists in the process, but if you go out and run an hour and then you eat more calories than you burned, what was the point? Sure, your fitness is better, but your overall health of losing the weight and keeping it off is not there. All right. And so, what we do is we have to find a sustainable approach. A simple phrase I use all the time with people, and you can write this down, is what we do in 2 weeks, we do in 2 months, in 2 years. And even think of it the 5 year rule. This is a really good, just an overarching idea here. If you can't see yourself doing whatever you're doing in 5 years from now, you're doing the wrong plan. Yeah, let alone trying to grind through 6 weeks of cutting out all carbs and avoiding family and social situations around food. That's horrible in and of itself. But when we go to the bigger picture of having to, this is your new life, that is not it. And I will certainly attest every single person I've ever worked with eats carbohydrates. Okay. We're just eating the appropriate amount of carbs that go along with the amount of activity that you are doing in the day to either be at a calorie maintenance or a calorie deficit. It's very rare that anyone that I've ever worked with is trying to get the muscles, the bulk in a sense. And yes, some people might be set for that, but ideally, if you're in your 40s, we need to make sure that you're in the healthiest, most fit version of yourself. And once you're there, then we can really focus on doing the muscle building phase because you're already checked the box on the everyday habits that you need to be successful. And then you can just focus on stronger lifts, better conditioning, and using the gym for that purpose rather than trying to burn more calories. And your confidence will go up quite a bit with your shirt off. We're going to skip out on some of those afternoon crashes, those 3 p.m. things. So we don't need to just rush more caffeine or energy drinks at the time. And that's really what the 5 year rule is about. And also, guys, we don't need to live in a deficit. All right, living in a deficit is it's just a tool to get fat off, but then we need to get into a normal maintenance calorie range, and that's something that's important. A lot of people often overlook is that they just get low on their calories, they stay low, and that becomes there's a metabolic adaptation. And that's what happens when the weight gain comes back. If you spent months and months at a lower calorie deficit amount of food, then that's where you're going to struggle because, say, we're in the holidays and at the Thanksgiving, you just fall off the rails and you're used to eating, say, 1,500 calories. It's a pretty low amount for a guy, but then you eat 2,500 calories or 3,000. That's a pretty typical Thanksgiving. Now you've put an extra 1,500 calories more in your body than it's used to. And that's where things start to fall off track. And if you've been avoiding the foods, you're going to have even more of a struggle there. Now, there's a bit of a rhythm to dieting as well. If the guys in my Call to Rise program, the 100-day fat loss challenge, where I get guys to lose 20 plus pounds. I actually just recorded yesterday. Lucas, he lost 30 pounds. You're going to see that in episode 34, which is the next one. From here, you'll be able to hear him go through that and that experience. Now, We do need to have a maintenance phase, and we cycle in and out of fat loss phase. You do not have to lose 60 pounds straight away. We need to just lose enough of a large chunk, say 20 or 30 pounds in a 3, 4, 5 month time frame. And then we need a diet break. We need a time at a maintenance level calories to refresh your metabolism and your body and get you to just breathe around when it comes to actually say tracking food calories and being in all focus on your nutrition so much because you're juggling a lot of things. I'm juggling 4 kids, my lovely wife Amber, self-employment for the last 15 plus years. Life is busy. Even squeezing this in today, I'm purposely taking time out of my day to schedule in this call to knock it out for you. Next up is the food noise, the emotional battle that is inside your head and probably not even inside your stomach, but more it's in your head. The original question was how to handle food noise around the holidays. Food noise is always going to be chattering in your head. That's what food noise is this constant I need to eat, I need food, I'm hungry, I want distraction, I want stress relief, I want joy and happiness, I want the sugar that the sugar roller coaster that I'm on. I need more sugar in this time. Now that is food noise, this constant distraction of it calling your name. And let's be honest, even now in our society, it's more fast, convenient, and accessible calories, fast calories, high calories that are available. Think of this for a moment. You can go to your gas station that's probably within a mile or two your house and buy 100,000 calories at a relatively pretty cheap price. Now, those all are going to taste amazing, but are they actually going to serve you? And they have flashy, colorful, well marketed, branded, designed food products and packaging that gets you to want to buy them. And the constant added sugar in is really calling your name. And this hits home with so many people. And I hear a story of this, a version of this story all the time. A guy coach, just call him Dan. He told me that really, like I've heard this before, but it's still nonetheless it's shocking when it comes out. And he said, Brian, every night at 9:30 after the kids go to bed, I walk to the pantry, I open a bag of whatever is there, and eat a handful, and I close it. Okay, well that's not the worst thing. A handful of something, say a handful of chips, a snack pack size worth of chips is 150-ish calories. That's just an FYI. A chip is about 10 calories, and that's something to pay attention to. Is one most people don't eat just 1 or 5 chips; they eat 2 dozen chips pretty quick, and it multiplies calories. But the problem, not that one time, but he does it again and again and again. He just doesn't even know why. He's not hungry. It's like he's trying to fill something that the food can't. And that's food noise. It's not snacking, it's not just munching, it's not just being hungry. It's just it ends up being some sort of a filler of a void that's going on. Oftentimes stress, there's overwhelm, boredom, you're distracted. How many people eat at night with another screen in their face? And then you don't realize you just put an extra 200 calories in your mouth. That's how it goes. All right. And sometimes it's just the loneliness that even guys with a full family life just don't even talk about. That's some of the reason why I'm doing this as well. I see a lot of 40-year-old men just lonely, for lack of a better term. They're so caught up in the busyness of providing and taking care of everyone else that they're not taking a great job of themselves, and they're alone in this journey in a sense, even if they have a loving family. And oftentimes they don't want to talk about it. Or I've had guys where they actually stop to decompress. They stop at McDonald's or whatever on the way home from work and then eat that and then go home and eat dinner afterwards. Well, there's your daily calories for the day. right in that 2 meal combo in under 3 hours. So, what are some basic things that we can do first? Is drink water first, right? If you can drink 20 ounces of water, wait 10 minutes, and just delay the time of putting food in your mouth, often you're met with some level of satisfaction. Oh, I've hardly drank water all day and I'm actually thirsty, not hungry. Yep, that's pretty much it. You're dehydrated. Your body is craving some liquid. Water to the body is like oil to a car, and you need some water. The second test, I love this one. I always call people out, but would you eat some chicken or have a piece of celery or an apple right now? And if yes, then you're hungry. If no, you're looking for something else, then you're just craving something. It's not hunger. I have this so often with my kids, Maxwell especially. Levi just is a bottomless pit. He's a swimmer. He's been running. He's the one who ran a marathon in September, pretty wild. And he and Everett swim 2 to 3 hours a day. They just constantly need to eat. But my third one, he is in middle school and he's not as active, and he'll come up right before bed and want some food, and he just falls into the basic trap of everyone else. Oh, I'm hungry, I should eat right before I go to bed. And for him, it's just not a good idea, as it is for most people, just not to eat. And I always say, hey, if you are hungry, then you can have fruit or vegetables. Well, he declines those and he still wants something, and therefore he's not actually hungry, as he would say. He says hungry. I hungry, and he's being playful. So there, if you aren't going to eat chicken, a piece of celery, maybe a little bit of peanut butter, or an apple, then you're actually not hungry. You're just looking for something. And lastly, is we're always looking for alternatives. You need to find something alternative. One of my favorite alternatives is cottage cheese, high protein, low fat, some chocolate protein powder, high protein, low fat, powdered peanut butter, high protein, low fat. Mix that together, and I have a chocolate peanut butter protein bomb, and it's amazing. I actually top it with some Cool Whip. Yes, I constantly buy Cool Whip. It's one of my guilty unknown pleasures that I don't share too much, but only with a select few in my group. But now I'm sharing it to you. I put Cool Whip on a lot of things actually, because it really heightens the flavor, and I'm only adding maybe 75 to 100 calories of Cool Whip, which is makes it delicious and so enjoyable. And then also we just have the grit side of things. It's okay to be hungry when you're going to bed if you're in a fat loss phase. It's just part of being in a calorie deficit and losing weight. My next question would be, did you eat enough fibrous foods, fruits, vegetables, to help keep you full? And did you eat earlier in the day to make sure that you stayed full long enough? All right, there's that one. Now, topic 3 was creatine. Should you take it? And that's what the original question was. Is it safe? Does it work? And I get this one so much. And there's unfortunately there is some confusion. It's not a steroid or a peptide or something like this. Creatine is in your body. Muscles need it and your body produces it, but not at the level. And you'll get it from food, but not at the level that you need. And so that we can then supplement with generally 5 grams is a good amount. And a 2022 systematic review published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research analyzed 35 controlled traits and found that creatine supplementation significantly improved muscle strength, muscle size, power output, and overall training performance. So this is totally something you should be using. There are a lot more studies that are coming out that there's a lot of cognitive benefits to it as well, that you will think and be more productive and focused as we go there too. All right. So that's important to note. How do we use it? Well, 3 to 5 grams ideally. You could even take maybe 5 to 8, depending on what your goals are using it. And you would do it every day. You don't have to necessarily preload either. That's not important if you're consistently taking it, and you don't have to cycle off of it. I've been taking it quite a while. It's actually over there, and I'm just gonna leave it over there. I'd show you, but I buy bulk supplements on Amazon. That's what it's called. It's on Amazon. It comes in a 5 pound bag. It's about $23. I buy the unflavored and I scoop it and I put it right in my mouth, so I get every last bit of it. It's unflavored, and I just rinse it down, and it's really not that big of a deal. Now they do have sour apple and a lemon that I've actually experimented with the sour apple, and it really actually flavors the water. So I've mixed it in water sometimes to get that extra enjoyable amount there from the flavored creatine as well. It does cost a little bit more, but it tastes so much better. Topic 4, we have cut, maintain, or build. The question is, how do I know if I should bulk or cut? A huge question for guys, right? At any age, especially when you're in your 20s. Right? I need to bulk up so I get bigger muscles. Well, what I find through talking to thousands of people are 95% of men need to cut fat first. We need to go through a fat loss phase, because it's not because muscle isn't important. It obviously is. And the more lean muscle mass you have on your body, the more alive you'll be, which is super important. But because you, you, if you have excess body fat, we just need to go through that cycle first. There is a thing called recomposition, and it's where you burn fat and build muscle at the same time. But this is going to greatly expand your timeline. Now, if you're patient and you're going to spend a good year or two on recomposition, then cool. But if you're 20 pounds overweight, let's just lose the 20 pounds, get to a really good look and feel, and then work on your strength, your conditioning, your overall muscle the rest of your life, because then you won't have to deal with the extra body fat, which will be super duper important. So we have 3 phases that you have to work through and understand. We have a fat loss phase, which is a calorie deficit. You have to eat less than your body burns. Number 2 is maintenance. This is where you are stabilized. You eat the same amount of calories that you burn. Think of it like playing tug of war with your appetite, your energy, your hormones. You're pulling and it's pulling and you're pulling and there's a balance, right? This whole thing, we don't need to just cut carbs or do something from 1990, a dieting strategy. I don't eat breads, pastas. Well, I guess I eat those all the time, but I just eat them in a controlled manner because I understand what they are. And that's the undertone, is if you don't understand nutrition, then you don't actually have control over the food that you're putting in your mouth. And understanding what is in the food you're eating and how to combine it is, and how to time it is pivotal to me being able to create a lot of success there for you as well. Phase 3 is the build. And if you are well established with your body weight and your overall lifestyle, then then we can work on building. We can have some bulk phases. Right now is a perfect time. Last year, I went through a bulk phase: November, December, January, February, March, going into April. And then May, June, I started to cut. I ended up putting about 10 pounds of weight on that wasn't 10 pounds of muscle. At best, a guy my age, 42, a significant amount of exercise history. I work out most days, every day. I hit weights at least 4 or 5 days most weeks, and I'm running, and I've been doing it forever. It's just part of my lifestyle, but I'm fighting over maybe half a pound a month. And even gaining 1 pound a month is actually pretty big for you. Now we have to understand where you're at with your body. If you're overweight, let's get to a fat loss phase. If you're at a healthy weight, then make sure that you understand your calorie level so that you can easily maintain within a 5-pound weight range. And then if you are stabilized and you have a big picture goal of building muscle, then great. You can have some controlled bulking phase in a sense, but you only want to add 200 to 300 extra calories, not just eat to your belly's full, because you will just get fat. Then you have to lose the fat after you're done. And it's a pain. You just don't want to do that. Now, you shouldn't try to build your muscle before you're ready, in a sense. If you're not at a good body weight, then don't do that. You should not be in a fat loss phase for more than 6 months at a time. In a sense, we want to cycle off of that. And we don't want to bounce from one to the next, because I call that waffling. You don't want to be cutting and then recomping, and you just end up going nowhere, and you end up frustrating. So inside my coaching program, the Call to Rise, I'm constantly assessing where people are. The majority of people need to lose weight. Occasionally, I'll get someone that actually is in a muscle building phase, and we'll put them on the proper calorie amount, the proper protein, carbs, and fats, and a proper exercise routine to help them build and gain muscle and all. All right. So let's shift now. If Just want to take a moment. If you've been in your 40s and 50s and you're carrying some extra weight, you know what your truth is. You don't need more motivation. You don't need willpower, discipline. You need a plan that actually fits into your day to day lifestyle, something that is a part of the appropriate schedules and the times and the challenges that you have. That's why I built a 30 tips in 30 days sequence. It's 30 straight days of simple, proven habits that help you drop fat, control cravings, and boost your energy. And finally, get consistent on just building a lifestyle. Okay. We're not starving ourselves. We're not going to the gym for a marathon session all week long or something. It gives you 30 simple, easy, actionable tips to maintain your weight if you're at a healthy weight, lose weight, and start applying those habits, behaviors. And I regularly get guys to lose 20, 30 pounds in 100 days and be able to keep it off because of the approach of what is inside these tips. So you can download it on the podcast. It'll be in the show notes. The website link is go.brianprana.com/30 days. That's 30 days. So one more time, go.brianprana.com/30 days. I hope to find your name on the list soon. Now we're going to transition into the Fast Five. It's one of my favorite parts. I talk a lot in the first half and then more longer explanations. And these are really fast, go type Q&As. And to wrap up today, our first question is, what is the first step if you have regained all the weight you've lost? Going back to that first question is, if you did that, do not go through the exact same process you did the last time to do it. That's a horrible idea, because if it didn't work the first time, why is it going to work the second time? Unless you actually learn something. But also, if it doesn't jive with your everyday life, then it's not going to work anyways. You need to have a plan of action that follows for that 5-year plan. All right. Just highlighting it again. What we do in 2 weeks, we do in 2 months, we do in 2 years or 5 years, without restrictions, without excessive amounts of gym time or any of that. Question number 2. How do I know if my food noise is real hunger or just a craving? And just going to rehash this with you. It's the protein test. Would I eat a chicken breast or a piece of celery or an apple? And if not, then you're not hungry. You're just looking to fill some mental, emotional stress needs, probably. Question 3. If I can only change one thing about my sleep in the next couple weeks, what's one thing you can do? Is go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Set a screens off timer on your phone alarm to shut things down, to give you back some actual quality time that you can lay in bed and sleep better. All right. That's what you can do. That's going to be the best thing for you to do, is just shut off. Okay. We didn't cover sleep a lot. I'll get that on the next one, as I don't want to keep this episode too long, just long enough that you'll listen and enjoy. Question 4. I am in my 40s and lifting again. Is creatine worth it? And yes, the simple answer is yes. 5 grams a day, every day, basically onwards. It's just been proven for decades, like 4 or 5 decades now, to be a really good supplement for you to have. And question number 5: how often should I be in a fat loss phase? A fat loss phase should be lasting anywhere from 12, 20 to possibly 30 weeks if you're doing it well with some planned refeeds, well timed carbohydrates, calorie cycling, off weeks here and there. And then you can stay in a diet phase a little bit longer. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed my first live episode here. I hope that you've enjoyed everything else that is to come. I'm going to be doing these a lot more regularly, just recording my podcast live. And if you have any topics that you would love, I would most certainly love to talk and entertain and inform you. And number 2 is listen to the podcast. It's called Driven for Health. It's on Apple, Spotify. Those are the 2 popular places, but it's on, I don't know, Levi helped me put it on 30 plus different directories. So it's around. And the goal is to spread high value information like this. And the best way you could support me is leave me a 5-star review and rate me and leave a written review about things that you learned. And I look at those things literally every day when they come in, and I greatly appreciate them, because if you've ever done this, it takes just a little bit of work to put these on. So I appreciate you. And lastly, we have the 30 tips in 30 days. If you're looking for an easy, actionable thing to put into your day-to-day life here this next month, jump into go.brianprana.com/30 days, and I'll be more than happy to send you a tip a day that is easy, implementable, and something that you can stick with. If you even just did half of them, you'd be in such a better place in the next month. Well, this is Coach Brian signing off of episode 33 of Driven for Health. Appreciate you for listening in. Thank you so much.